Hi, everyone. Welcome to the team announcement tonight. If you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever you're watching from, please share the video. We will get started at 6:30 p.m. If you are watching, go ahead and write in the comments where you're watching from, why you're here, and what you're excited to hear. And we'll be here in just a bit. Thank you. All right, Taylor, take it away. Taylor, can you hear me okay? I might be muted. Taylor, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here.
Okay,
yes.
You take it away. Thank you. Hey, let's get this thing started.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are so excited to be coming to you from all across Missouri, ready to launch the team to empower all Missourians. This is a project that a group of us have been working on for a couple months now. And so we are so excited to officially bring it to you all in the accompaniment of, candidates from all across the state who are running in our rural areas. So my name is Taylor Jackson. I have the honor of being Kathy Ellis's campaign manager. Kathy is running for Congress in the 8th District, and so our work is primarily in Southeast Missouri, but the folks on this call tonight are from quite literally every corner of our state. And we're all running in these rural districts, really committed to bringing progress to Missouri. And so I'm going to be kind of moderating and helping keep the conversation moving, but I want to make sure you all get to hear from all of these lovely candidates. And then we'll be talking a little bit about what the next steps are and how you can support the work that we're all doing. So there's about 23 candidates that have signed on to the team so far. And we have about 15 to 16 of those joining us tonight. And so we're excited for you guys to hear from all of them. So I'm going to pass it to our founding members. So 4 candidates came together a couple months ago to form this. Lindsay Simmons, who's running for Congress in the 4th, Kathy Ellis, who's running for Congress in the 8th, Alad Gross, who's running for Attorney General, and Dennis Oglesby, who's running for Congress in the 3rd. And so I'm going to let them talk a little bit about why we formed this and what this work means. So Alad, I'm going to come to you first. Can you talk a little bit about the office that you're running for and why something like this was important to you as a statewide candidate? Thanks a lot. Kathy, I'm going to come to you next. You should be unmuted. Let me make sure you're unmuted. Yep, you should be good. So Kathy, can you talk a little bit about your race and why this cause matters to you?
Yeah, sure. I'm Kathy Ellis. I'm running the 8th district, and I ran in 2018. We were able to organize the district. It's 30 counties and a lot of rural land out there. And one of the things that we found is that people had not seen candidates really show up in a lot of the areas of our district. And that included the current person that's in that seat. And so we started to talk about the importance of rural areas and how, elections are won or lost often in rural areas. And so we had really looked at our district and determined that it had been another district that was very rural that has been neglected for a very long time. People have needs that aren't being taken care of. And so we wanted to really think about how we could create a big difference and support candidates that are running. It's really lonely when you're running by yourself in a county and you're the only Democrat. And the resources are very, very few and far between. And so we thought it would be a great idea if we could form a coalition of all of the people that want to join us and really share this vision of every time there is an empty seat in our legislature, in our state senate, in the dog catcher's office, whatever it is, that we would have a Democrat in that seat, that we would provide them with the help that they need, the advice that they need, the moral support that they need to move forward in that position in order to run for office and hopefully successfully win. And we know that as the reality is that we have to keep running people year after year after year, and it takes a while to make that happen. But it starts now. And it starts with this team. We're all very engaged. We all want to see our districts and our communities succeed. And we also want to see our state come out of its very low ranking in just about everything and begin to be successful again. So we're glad that everyone's here today. This is an opportunity that you can see all of these wonderful candidates. And we want to just share some of what we're doing, and you'll be hearing that as we go along. So thanks for being here. Very, very much thanks to the initial team. Alon is my brother from another mother, and Taylor has certainly been at the head of this movement. So we're very appreciative to everyone that has been putting this together.
Thanks, Kathy. And I think we had some technical difficulties. And so a lot of folks are screaming on Facebook, like, I want to hear a lot. So I'm going to give you another chance. You should be good now.
I blew it. You all know
okay.
I always blow it because I don't want, I've got one mic here. I got another button. I just don't want, all the noise. You all know, if you're watching the Alon Pod, I screw this up every single week for at least 10 seconds. So I had to do it here. I was feeling it too when I was talking. I totally agree with everything that Kathy just said. That should be the easiest part of this. But I just feel so strongly that we really need a government that represents us. And it is so important to have folks who are they understand the issues, who are really serving us. And I'm so happy you can finally hear me now. Thank you, Joseph, to make sure that's happening so I can see your comments right now too. And that is what this is really about. Like, we want to interact with you. We want to hear what you have to say. We want you to be a part of this. And it's so important to make sure we're bringing our government back to we the people. And it's something that we've gotten away from. It's something that we've made sure that only those who have a lot of money and power are the ones who are represented in our government. And this is how we change that. Far too often, folks in rural Missouri have been ignored by our government because they know they don't have to come to us. They know they can just go and get someone to write them a big check, put on something on TV, and hope that they scale. We're not going to let that happen anymore. And we need your help to make sure that we get that done. So we're going to have a whole bunch of resources, not only for candidates to get this done, but also for you to get involved. And so many of you a lot of you have already donated to support a bunch of the candidates in the room in this effort. And we really, really appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to Larry Voigt, who was the first one to do that over in Cass County. And, we deserve to have elected officials that we can access, that we know who they are, we know where they stand, and we know they're going to be there for us. And that's what the team is all about. So thanks for giving me a second shot at saying the same thing.
Of course. Thanks a lot. I know how hard it is to do the tech and to speak. So Dennis, you should be unmuted now, if it'll let me do it. You should be good now. So Dennis, you are part of the founding crew. So can you talk a little bit about what this group means to you?
It gives me goosebumps to be a part of the founding crew. I love that title. These are incredible candidates. So I am Dennis Oglesby. I'm running for the 3rd Congressional District. We are challenging the always elusive Blaine Lukemeyer. And I think the reason that I wanted to get involved, we've touched on this, but in the 3rd Congressional District alone, we had 32 state house seats. 50% of those have no challenger. These people are just walking right into office. And it's because people are afraid to run or they don't have the support behind them. And the idea of this group is to form a strong backbone that exists long after we're candidates, for years and years to come, to support these candidates in rural areas. And there's a reason for that. The problems that our residents are facing are not Republican problems. They're not Democrat problems. They're American problems. And like Alon touched on, the money that is pouring into our election system right now is making it difficult for any one of our residents to have true representation. We are battling it nonstop. My opponent has millions in the bank from big banks and the financial industry, dark money out the wazoo. But we're going to keep fighting. This is a long-term investment for our residents, for the Missourians who really matter.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Dennis. I know that when we first started meeting for this group, we were all very dedicated to this being something that lives past election day. You know, this is about supporting these amazing candidates all across the state, and also working to change what our state looks like and what rural campaigning looks like. So thank you for bringing that piece of this up. Caitlin, I'm going to let you speak next. Let me unmute you. So Caitlin is here as a representative of Lindsay Simmons, who's running in the 4th District. As you know, candidates have many things on their calendar, and so we're glad that Caitlin could be here tonight. So Caitlin, do you want to talk a little bit about, I know you were a part of the forming this in the beginning too. So if you want to talk a little bit about what this means for you all.
Definitely. So as Taylor said, I am the Deputy Finance Director for the Simmons campaign. Lindsay Simmons is running in Missouri's 4th District against Vicki Hartzler for Congress. Lindsay grew up in rural Missouri. She grew up in a farming family. So she really wants to elevate rural voices and fight to elevate rural voices that have been pushed aside and ignored for so long in political discourse here in this state. And that's kind of one of the things that drew us to kind of starting this conversation with these other candidates. All of you are really wanting to join us in that fight. And we're all, we all, as was said earlier by Alad and Kathy and Dennis, we just want to work to give voice to those who haven't had a chance to speak and who are ignored in political discourse. And that's kind of where we did. We want to work together to elevate those issues and events and information and spread more resources to community leaders and advocate for the people of Missouri who have not been able to advocate for themselves due to lack of resources and lack of support. So we want to kind of be that support and be the connection. I'm going to keep it brief, but I just want to reiterate what they said earlier. We're here to elevate those voices that have been ignored so far.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah, I think that's really important. It's, running for office in any part of any state is a difficult task. You sign up to put a lot on the line and protection and support of your neighbors. And running in rural areas is tough. It's hard to fundraise. It's hard to reach people. Coronavirus has made this even more difficult. And so when we were looking at, all of us had been working together in some capacity. We had done events with Alad and Lindsay, and Dennis and Lindsay had done things. And we had worked with down ballot candidates. And we said, if we want to move this state forward, we need to make a really solid investment in rural candidates. And that needs to live past the work that we do every day even. So what we did is formed this group, and then we basically sent a very lengthy email to down ballot candidates all across the state, basically pitching this kind of wild idea and asking them to join us. And we were really grateful that within a day, we had about 25 candidates sign up. So we are so excited for you all to officially meet these candidates. And so what we're going to do is give everyone a chance to kind of introduce themselves, talk about where they're running. I've also reminded them that there are many of them and candidates like to speak a lot. And so we're going to try to keep this at 45 minutes to an hour so that you all aren't bored on the Facebook and Twitter end of this. So Taylor, I'm going to start with you. You're here to represent Chris Hyman. So can you talk a little bit about that race and who you are and who Chris is?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Taylor. I am the campaign manager for Christine Hyman. She's running in Missouri's 105th House District, which is about a quarter of St. Peter's, a good chunk of St. Charles City, but mostly unincorporated St. Charles County. Chris is not here tonight because, as Taylor Jackson said, lots of things on lots of calendars and lots of places. Follow us on Facebook. Chris is all over Facebook and Twitter. We are super excited to be a part of the team. I think everybody here can speak to needing more support in more places. So we're very excited, and thank you all for forming such a great program. You're still muted, Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
Yes.
We worked with Taylor and Chris a lot of different events, and they're stellar. It's incredible to work with them. So
Thank you.
I'm glad you guys are able to join us tonight.
Thank you.
Let's see, who do we want to go to next? I'm just going to go in order of the screen here. So Dave, Greg, you are next.
All right.
Yeah.
My name is Dave Gregg. I'm running in House District 130, which is Western Greene County, west of Springfield. I grew up in Henry County, a little town called Montrose, which if you know the area, you might have heard of it. Most folks haven't. But bounced around for a little while, came back home to Missouri to raise my family, and got a little tired of watching what's going on in our legislature. So that's how I ended up running. You're muted, Taylor.
Still muted. I know. It's a habit. Thanks, Dave. We appreciate it. Jackie, you are next. You should be good.
All right, great. My name is Jackie Sample, and I am running in Missouri House District 44. So that's northeast corner of Columbia, and it also includes Hallsville and Centralia and Sturgeon and little piece of Randolph County. So my district is about 50-50 rural, and then northeast Columbia isn't quite as rural. So, but I grew up in rural northwest Missouri, so I definitely understand rural needs. And one of the things that I've heard from many of the people that I've talked with throughout my district is, which I'm sure we'll talk more about later, is that rural communities feel like that they are losing local control of their communities, and that the state is making bad decisions that they have to follow in regards specifically to CAFOs, school start days in particular. Those are the top two things I'm hearing about. So I'm sure we'll get into that more later, but I'm running for lots of reasons. Basically, I've been an advocate for a very long time for persons with disabilities, and want to move from influencing policy to writing it. So that's why I'm here.
Thanks, Jackie. We're so glad you could join us. Gina, I think you are next. And I think you're getting unmuted currently.
Hello, everybody. Greetings. I'm Dr. Gina Ross, and I am running for Congress for District 6. We have 36 counties, so that's the biggest county, and I would just like to be the change I like to see and have everyone in the counties take ownership of their counties, and we can build a better tomorrow beginning today. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. It's fun for us to connect with other congressional candidates who understand it's kind of its own beast. So, Terrence, I'm going to let you go ahead and go next because I know you have another event. So, Terrence, it's all you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining this evening. My name is Terrence Fiala. I'm running in Missouri House District 6, which consists about half of Lincoln County, all of Macon, and most of Randolph County, including Beverly. I'm really excited to be part of this team and giving a voice back to rural.
Thanks, Terrence. I appreciate it. And yeah, there's another event tonight with the House Dem Committee. So I know that's where Terrence is headed next. So you may see some folks pop in and pop out. That's the nature of working with 25 candidates to move the state forward. Tammy, we're going to go back to you. You should be unmuted. Go right ahead.
Okay, well, I'm Tammy Hardy. I'm the Democratic candidate for the 33rd Senatorial District of Missouri. It's a deep red territory, so it's an uphill battle, but I'm really hoping that people are ready for change. As a lot of you all have talked about, what I hear a lot is that people feel like they haven't been represented. When I first started thinking about doing this, I'd go to some of the counties and just talk to people, and I'd say, honestly, I'm a Democrat, and I realize this is Republican territory. Do I have a snowball's chance in hell? And their reply was generally yes, because at least you're asking us about it. Because it's been a long time since anybody has been to our area and actually asked us what we wanted, what was important to us. So I think that communication is really key to things. And those of you that know me know that I'm a big team player, so I really like what we're doing here. I think that's the key to winning. So yeah, we take it a step at a time and just give it our best shot and work as a team, and I think we can do some incredible things. I always urge candidates to support each other because it's a lonely job in rural Missouri. So anytime you can help support a teammate, go ahead and do it. If they're having an event, if you happen to have that evening free, go to their event, help support them. And yeah, because we're usually facing largely Republican audiences, so it's always nice to see a few friendly faces out there that you are there to support you.
Thanks, Tammy. And I love that. I don't know if other folks can hear the sound of the birds behind.
Yeah, we just hatched 9 new chicks, so they're all
I love it.
old.
It's a perfect depiction of what campaigning in rural Missouri is like. I love
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
Thanks, Tammy.
Sure.
I think next is Jessica Devoto. It's all you.
Hey guys, I'm Jessica Devoto, and I'm running for state representative in the 104th. District 104 is a relatively small area of St. Charles County, which is about half an hour west of downtown St. Louis. If you're familiar with St. Charles, it runs from Mexico Road down to Towers Road and roughly Cox Hill to Pittman Hill. I'm running because I'm tired of the Republican majority's antics in Jefferson City, plain and simple. My goal is to be a voice for the people, including people in remote areas that have been overlooked by Jeff City. I believe in many of the same issues that the team has been pursuing, and again, those are issues that tend to get ignored in Jefferson City and in Washington because they don't have enough contact with the rural community, and that's why we need legislators who will listen and work to make change where it matters the most.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Jessica. I'm glad you were able to join us. Susan Chumway, you're next.
Hi, I'm Reverend Susan Chumway. I am running in House District 108. Which is, again, west of St. Louis. And Lake St. Louis is the main part of the House District, along with parts of Darden Prairie, O'Fallon, and Wentzville. So I decided to run because I was tired of not feeling like my representative represented me. And I would and will be someone who represents all the people. I have lived mainly in small towns my whole life. This is one of the larger towns I've lived near, which is nice at times for the different offerings of food, but and healthcare. But there are a lot of issues that are not addressed in the state legislature. And I want to be a part of that, addressing the problems of Missouri.
Thank you, Susan. We're glad to have you. And I just want to flag for folks, we just have a few more candidates left to introduce themselves, but we are going to take some time at the end to answer your questions. And a lot is going to be monitoring those. So if you have questions now, feel free to drop them either in the comment section or the chat, whatever method you're watching, and we'll do our best to address those at the end. So, okay, Marvin, it's all you.
All right, I'm unmuted and I'm ready to go. I'm Marvin Mannering. I'm from Stockton in Southwest Missouri. Missouri's best kept secret. Come see us. Beautiful lake area. The 128th is mostly Polk County, with Bolivar as its county seat, and Stockton here in Cedar County with its county seat. It's a very small sliver of Cedar County. I've watched several representatives over the years. I've lived in the area for 25 years. I'm a school music teacher. I've been teaching for 35 years, and education is a very important issue to me. And it's obvious to all of us, we've watched education getting batted around in the state legislature for many years, and usually getting the shortest end of the stick. Along with Clean Missouri, along with the CAFO issues of SB 391, there's just been a lot of shenanigans in the state government that I feel eliminating the supermajority first and attaining a Democratic majority when we can. And I'm really excited about that possibility. Are paramount to what we should be doing. And we don't do that unless we fill our ballots. And I'm really proud to be filling the one in the 128th. It's a tough uphill battle. I know many of us are facing that, but my inspiration for this comes from the grassroots folks that I have taught and lived with for all of these years. And also I've been very impressed with our state slate of candidates as well. I think they're wonderful folks, great leaders. Really looking forward to seeing them do some terrific things in the state. Be proud to serve, and I'm really happy to be a part of the team. Thank you for your support.
Thanks, Marvin. Cindy, you're next.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. My name is Cindy, and I am running in Southwest Springfield, Missouri as a Democrat. And I want to thank you all for putting together this team to help organize and maybe help us gain some traction in our districts that we're running for. I'm running for District 133, and the incumbent is currently running to be the House Majority Speaker. So it's crucial that I win this race and make sure that he doesn't take that spot. Major reasons why I'm running is because, as the previous candidate Marvin said, we've cut so much money from education, and education is absolute key, is the number one thing to me in raising our children and raising our future. People need access to health care, and those are the two biggest things that I hear about when I was able to knock on doors back in 2018. We need ethics reform, and I'm a big advocate for ethics reform, and I thank Elad for everything that he's been doing on that side. So I just really like to have an opportunity to make a difference for people and improve the lives of working class Missourians.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cindy. Marvin is applauding.
Well put.
Yeah, I think we all agree deeply with that. John, I think you're up next. Yep.
Hey, how you doing? John Keeney. Can you hear me? I know you can. John Keeney, running for state representative of Missouri's 110th House District, which includes the southern part of Wildwood, Pacific, Eureka, part of Ellisville, part of Labadie, where I'm sitting right now, and part of Gray Summit. About 8 or 9 people that vote for me there. So check it out. I'm a 5th generation Missouri native. I was born and raised in St. Charles, Missouri, born just a few hundred feet from our first state capital, which at the time growing up was really not significant. Now I'm trying to get to the state capital, and here's why. I got a Black wife and kids. I've been a foster parent. I've been a foster advocate. I've dealt with behavioral institutions. I've dealt with state policy that is a huge problem for people, vulnerable people in our state. I'm also a small business person, been doing that for a very long time. And policy that affects, I would say, not only the culture, let's say, that affects the culture and the well-being and the prosperity of people in Missouri, affects small businesses. So when there's more people that can spend money, when there's more people that can go out, when there's more people that can purchase products and purchase services, that means that I make more money. And so that's important to a whole lot of people. In addition, we have environmental issues out here where I'm in Labadie. We have a coal-fired plant just about 4 miles from my house. We have 100 acres of coal ash sitting in a pit in the Missouri River bottoms. It's an issue. We have dioxin dumps all up and down here. CAFOs, of course, are an issue. We're in Franklin County, and the Franklin County Commission wants to open up Franklin County, about 90% of our county, to CAFOs and landfills and so forth. We've had a family farm in Missouri for 130 years. And even my Fox News watching father is not really fond of the idea of having a CAFO next door. So, there are a lot of issues that bring me into this. For 35 years, I actually have just been a professional musician and touring and doing that kind of thing. And then about 13 years ago, got into the raising other people's kids thing. So we're on number 5 and 6 now. So I noticed I'm in my campaign shirt. I was changing diapers and doing stuff here just a few minutes ago. So I had to come in the backyard and jump on. I really appreciate all of you getting involved in this. I ran 2 years ago for state senate, and it was a really tough pull. And I did fairly well considering there weren't that many resources available. But this team thing is awesome. I want to really thank Elad and Kathy Ellis and everybody else for putting this together. I look forward to helping people in any way, shape, or form. If there's something that I can do, if you have a question, something you want to know, get a hold of me, www.johnkeene.com, whatever. And I'll turn it back to you.
Thanks, John. We appreciate it. We have just 2 candidates left. So Adrian, I think you're next.
It's good to see everybody. There's more support out there than you think. I'm running because I'm greedy, selfish, and want to represent myself. Nobody else matters. No. I'm running.
I'm laughing.
I'm running for many different reasons. One is because of the when I originally, this is my second run. In 08, the recession of 08, which I call the Republican recession. I lost my business, lots of work put in, did a lot of traveling. And in that time I was in lingo, and I got behind Bernie Sanders back then because he spoke to me because of the economy at that time. But I want to let you all know that my campaign is going to be the people's campaign. And the last run, I was the 4th most spent against in the state. It's going to be another big spender for the Republicans. If it's going to be a close race, the House Republicans and their super PAC are going to spend a lot of money against you. So remember, they're going to hit you low, and just remember to step back, collect your thoughts, and put your spin back on it to where your truth is, because they're not going to tell you the whole story. So obviously in my district, it's mostly rural. It gets a little bit of Columbia, goes into, gets a sliver of Cooper County, gets Rocheport, Harrisburg, a little street off of in Moberly, and it's a pretty rural district. The things that I've been doing that you all might think about is I've been going to garage sales. I went to a city council meeting in Higbee, which is a town of 500 or 600 people. But those are usually good old boys and good old gals that if you can just talk their language, they're more than happy to acknowledge that they're glad to see you and that you show concern for their needs. So keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm glad you all had this group put together. We're all getting ready to get swamped. So keep your focus, keep grounded, and glad to see you all.
Thanks, Adrian. Glad you could join us. Okay, last but certainly not least, and has gotten lots of comments about the cat in the photo, is Carrie. Carrie, it's all you.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm really glad that I was able to pop in. I actually just got home from work, which is, I guess, the issue with running a campaign and working a full-time plus job. But my name is Carrie Chesney. I'm running for Missouri's 50th House District, which includes Southern Boone County. So that's Southern Columbia, Ashland, Hartsburg, and then parts of Montauk County, California, Missouri, and slivers of Cooper and Cole County. I am a veterinarian and scientist and never really thought I'd be running for office, but over the last several years, I've come to realize that our state government doesn't exactly use data or evidence or anything of the sort to formulate good policy. And as a science-heavy candidate, I am wanting to change that. That data, includes what people vote for. So we've seen the current legislature trying to overturn votes on Clean Missouri. They've tried to roll back certain qualifications for minimum wage, things like that. So I find that completely unacceptable. And moving forward, I'd like to be able to be the candidate that listens to people, takes their opinions and their votes seriously, and does the work of our communities rather than big money donors and important lobbyists. So thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. And there's one more person on here to introduce herself. Jess is not a candidate, but is a valuable member of this team. So Jess, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I am Jessica Lambrecht, or Jess. As most of you all know, I am Alad Gross's campaign manager. So if you all need anything, have any questions, for those of you who are doing this on your own, our team is also happy to support and lend a hand. So we're thrilled to be here, so proud to be here with everyone, and we look forward to working with you all over the next few months.
Thanks, Jess. So just a reminder, so let me back up. So that is all of the lovely candidates that we have tonight joining us. I hope that you all will take the time to go to their websites, learn more about them, if they're running in your area, vote for them, all of those wonderful things. And so we're going to talk a little bit about kind of what practically this group looks like. So we've talked about, kind of the idea behind it and the ideology and why we did this. But practically, what does it mean to take back our state and invest in rural Missouri? So here's what we're working on right now. And like most campaigns, this will develop as we go. And we would love your ideas if you have great ideas about how we can do things moving forward. So a few things. So we have a Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, please join the group. It's called the Team to Empower All Missourians. We can drop the link to that in the comments of this. When we were figuring out, what is it that rural candidates need, we identified kind of three main pieces of that. So a huge piece of that is information and resources. It is hard to run campaigns anywhere. It's incredibly hard for rural candidates. And there's no good guidebook to running a rural campaign. I think, we kind of learned that in 2018, that we have to do things differently in our rural communities. So this Facebook group is going to be a place where we're all going to be sharing all of our volunteer opportunities, cool events that we're hosting. I think Tammy was saying, show up even if they're not in your district. A blue vote is a blue vote no matter where you live, and we need to get good people in office. So show up, volunteer for them. One kind of advantage to all of us being stuck at home is that most of us are doing things virtually. And so it is completely possible for you to live in this corner of the state and support and phone bank for candidates in the bottom corner of the state. And so there's going to be opportunities that the candidates and their teams are posting constantly. The other piece of this is volunteer opportunities. One thing we identified is that a lot of us have the same volunteers, which makes sense. We're working in the same areas. And so we're going to be trying to work together on phone banks and canvases and town halls and things moving forward. And we'll advertise those on the website as well as that Facebook group. So one thing that's coming up, we're going to be doing a Rural Week of Action, date to be determined, where we'll be really doing a coordinated effort to support all of these candidates. So all of that will be in the Facebook group. The other piece of this is fundraising. Everyone said this. It is really hard to raise money for rural races for a variety of reasons. And one piece of that is that all of our opponents are incredibly well funded by corporations, which is a part of the reason that our state is where that it is. So if you have the capacity to support, I know a lot of folks have already done this today, so thank you. There is an Act Blue form that is linked on our website that basically splits a donation between all of these lovely candidates. And we would all, of course, appreciate that support greatly. The last piece is that if you are a candidate and you would like to be a part of this group, please, we would love to have you. So you can send us an email. There's a little form you can fill out on the website. We would love to expand this group as much as possible. By no means are we at capacity. So reach out to us. And Alad, can you drop the web address and mention what that is?
Oh, I already did. Don't you worry. It was just on the screen. See, I've got some
it.
magic going on behind you. I was just following. Yeah, it's Team for Mo, and I'll put that back up on the screen so you can see all the links to all that stuff at teamformo.org. And you'll be able to find the link to the Facebook page, the link to the donation page too. It's all right there.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. And the other thing that's on that website, and a couple people hinted at this, when we were forming this group early on, we created a platform. So all of us are running different races. We all have different priorities, but there were certain issues that we saw overlap on and that we all agreed were priorities in our separate campaigns. So if you're curious to what those are listed on the platform piece of the website. It is very extensive. 2 of the founding members are attorneys. So they're very elaborate in terms of what we support. But I think it gives a good dive into, what are rural values? Well, those are healthcare. Those are supporting our small farmers. Those are supporting our public schools. And all of those things are listed there. So we would love to have you check those out. So Facebook page, Act Blue, and check out that website for all the information that you need, as well as the list of candidates who are a part of this. So I think that's all the logistical pieces. Alad, do we have questions from folks?
In fact, we do.
Yay, I love it.
And I can put those on the screen, but I'm also going to read them out loud so that you can see them too. I think we explained quite a few, which is great. Really good. And folks, thank you all for coming. Mitch, I see you out here. We've got John, who's out here. Joseph has been commenting a lot, and you're all over the place too. Sally had a question. And she's been a big supporter of our one and only Kathy Ellis. So she had this question. I'm going to put it on the screen for everybody to see. But she said, I've been making monthly contribution to Kathy's campaign through Act Blue. Will that be canceled? Do I have to relink to the Team Act Blue for a monthly contribution? No, do not cancel that. But I'm going to let Taylor, you go ahead and make the pitch. So how does the Act Blue work for all of the candidates? What can they do when they go to the website? And I'll put that back on the page too for everybody.
Yes, thanks a lot. So all of the candidates here have their own separate Act Blue pages. So Sally, that is what you donate to Kathy's campaign through. For example, on our team, we have probably 45 different Act Blue pages that we use on a variety of things, whether you give via an email, Facebook, at an event, there's all kinds of things that we code. So what this Act Blue form is basically one place that you can split a contribution between all of the candidates. So if you give $25 and there are 25 candidates, then each candidate will get $1 of that donation. Does that make sense? If we have follow-up questions, we'll follow up with those. That does not change any of the current contributions that you're making. So Sally, please, if you're able, you can continue contributing to Kathy's campaign. You can also contribute through the team form, and that donation will be split among all of these candidates. So they're totally separate. Basically what Act Blue does is it just pulls the name onto the form, and then that money gets split to the different candidates. Was that clear? Act Blue is a messy institution sometimes. So if we have questions, we'll keep those figured out, but it does not change your current contributions.
Yeah, keep putting the question. If you put the questions in and we don't get to them, or you're watching this on replay, we'll be able to see those comments later too. So if you do have any issues with Act Blue, feel free to put those in and let us know, and we'll help you get there. We got a good question from Joseph, and I think this would be good for candidates to jump in too if we've got some time. Taylor, is that okay? All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Joseph asks, young voters are pushing further to the left and could be pivotal to victory. What do you plan on doing to excite young voters to get to the polls and cast their vote? So how do we get young folks out and active and voting?
Anyone can take it.
Oh, someone wants it.
Taylor wants it.
Oh, Taylor's got the hand up. All right, there we go.
I learned from Dennis, hands up works the best. I think the most important thing, being a young person, and I've talked to a lot of my friends about this, is to talk about it. Talk about voting. Go tell 5 of your friends the candidates that you've seen today, and share this information on your Facebook page. And then just tell them, 5 more friends, 5 more friends, 5 more friends, 5 more friends. It kind of works like selling Party Light. Nobody knows about Taylor Jackson selling Party Light until someone hears that she does it. So talk, be open, reach out to everybody on this call and say, hey, I want to tell my friend, Dr. Ross, I don't know if they live in your district. Can you help me out? And that's how we're going to do it. And then the other piece is stuff like this. We do fun stuff. Everybody on here does fun stuff all the time online. Jump in and get involved with that stuff. I think there's some pretty exciting stuff going on in every district here.
Yeah, Gina, go ahead.
So as being a a professor, I have students that will tell other students, like Taylor had said. And I'm out the box. I TikTok. I TikTok rhymes and things where I know young people are with little chants about my campaign. So, and like skip to number 3 and vote for me. But young people, they like music. So you have to meet them where they're at. So, and I have young millennials, my children. So, you know, I learned from them how to reach other young children. So young adults. So you just have to be able to meet them where they're at, and you have to talk to them in a language that they understand and not just make it seem like politics is usual. You have to present it to them in a different way. Otherwise, they're turned off by it, and some of them, and they may not never vote. They think their vote doesn't matter. But if you present it as a way and you plant that seed, it'll water, it'll grow, they'll vote.
I'm going to jump in with a quick comment. Just typically, I'm the resident young person in most of these political rooms. Someone told me I looked 12 the other day, which I'm not 12, I promise. So I think a big thing too is, you know, young people are terrified. I mean, our futures are dire, right? Like the healthcare situation is terrible. A lot of us are, you know, really inundated by student loan debt. Jobs are crumbling, our districts, a lot of our hometowns are crumbling. I think young people really want to know where you stand on the issues, and they want authentic candidates who can provide some semblance of hope moving forward. So yes, I think we have to approach young people in a creative and innovative way. But I think it's a misnomer that young people don't care about a lot of these issues because they have to. They quite literally have to. And sometimes I think we get questions of, you know, young people don't show up to events and et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, well, yeah, because they're working 3 jobs and they're trying to pay off their student loan debt and they're trying to find a career and all of these things. So we have to try to figure out how to find younger people, which can be tricky. But yeah, I think everything everyone said is correct. There's a lot of ways to get young people excited about what we're doing. Kathy, let me unmute you. Hold on. Yep, you're good.
Okay, I just wanted to add to that is you know, one of the things that's important for us to do is I think we often dismiss younger people as not really knowing what they're doing. They know what they're doing, and we need to have conversations. We need to talk about what values they have and what their needs are. And I think one of the ways that we can do this is by doing things like online forums, where you invite a couple of people in and just, you know, what's it like to be your age? How are you dealing with what's happening? What do you see in government? How can you begin to be a part of this process that changes the dynamic in government? And so I think that, you know, we have a variety of ways that we've all talked about here, but we want to communicate to them that you have value and we want to support you, and we want you to have the kind of life that you deserve. So I think that, you know, we're seeing a lot of people that are being brought in that are very young people of all ages, races, whatever, in the Black Lives Matter movement. And I think that that's a very important thing for us to continue to be a part of as candidates, and to support those young people in their choice to be a part of that movement.
Thanks, Kathy. John, is your hand raised? Do you have a comment? I see your hand. Okay, go ahead.
I do, and my hand's still raised. Well, what we've been doing out here is, I mean, personally, I'm 27, so, you know, I'm really in touch with a lot of the people, you know, those younger folks. 26 was a really tough year for me. But besides that, here's a couple things we've been doing. Number one, I agree with the TikTok thing, meeting young people where they're at. So we've been trying to do that, as well as we've been trying to coordinate with, before, you know, the coronavirus is more difficult now, but our local community college out here, we have East Central College. We've done some stuff there, try to get kids there involved. Same thing out here with Wildwood Community College. I know being in a more closer to places where we have those resources, it's easier. We've also had a number of protests out here in Franklin County, and you may or may not know that the Missourian in Washington recently had a huge shakeup that was in the news, actually in the national news. Well, living out here and knowing all those folks and running out here again, that was huge. And that was pretty much precipitated by a bunch of young people who have started doing things out here. So I have worked on and been working on collaborating with these young people who have the guts to stand in St. Clair in the city, right there in the city square, and we're doing Sullivan this weekend. They call it, in the city they call Sullivan KKK country. So we have some young folks that know the risks. We had a young lady here just a couple days ago who couple kids in a pickup truck tried to clip her in Union, and thank God the Union police followed up on that. Her dad called, a young black lady, and she was 17. Some other kids in a pickup truck with Trump flags, tried to clip her. But there are groups that are forming on Facebook that are operating outside of the typical circles that we're used to. And so I've been trying to make sure that I'm finding those people and I'm engaging with them without trying to subvert their cause, but becoming a part, listening to what they're doing, seeing what they're doing, and so forth and so on. So I think that's something that we can really do. It's helping us out here. I know running 2 years ago, I was trying to figure out whatever we could to try to get young people involved. And I think at this point, because of the difficulties we're facing, we have to find them where they are at. And it may not be at the schools where they were, but we have to find them. We can find them on social media. We can meet them with things that they're interested in. And then I think a lot of folks, like you said, they don't know, but I think that a lot of people, regardless of the age, are getting the messaging about what a Democrat is from somebody other than us. They've been getting it from national media, from some other part of the internet, or social media, internet media. And we haven't had Democrats that are elected that are representing in their areas that are representing those values. So it's kind of double on us that when we talk to people in our communities, like we are the mainstream media in a lot of our communities because we're fighting Fox News or something else. So anyway, that's what seems to be helping us.
Thanks, John. And yeah, I think you're exactly right. We get that question a lot from folks like, why do folks in Missouri vote for these progressive ballot issues and then vote against the candidates that support them? Well, a lot of times there haven't been candidates that have been supported in their areas, and folks don't know what Democrats stand for. They don't know that Democrats support raising the wage and all of these things. So absolutely, we have to show up. Tammy, did you have something you wanted to add? I saw your hand go up.
Thinking, we have all of these great candidates that have specialized skills, and I think we could maybe support each other because every one of these candidates has something that they're especially good at. For instance, I'm a pretty good writer, and I've had good success with writing letters to the editor, things like that. I'd be happy to lend those services to other candidates. And for instance, there may be other candidates that would have some skills that I could use in my campaign. I think it'd be great to kind of come up with a subcommittee of resources within ourselves of people that could help with various things.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And yeah, I think there's a lot of directions that this group can go. And I'm excited to see what we got. Taylor, I think you have something that you want to add.
Yes. Spinning off a little bit of what John was talking about the inequality in Missouri and everything that's going on there, and a little bit off what Kathy was talking about, there are a lot of really angry people our age, Taylor and I's age, that are ready for change and want something to happen. Something that we have going on with Christine's campaign on Friday is a roundtable where we have a few people that have marched with Black Lives Matter. We have a few folks that are trans. We have a mother who's going to talk about raising Black kids in today's climate. Overall inequality. Representative Ian Mackey is going to be with us, and it's going to be a great platform for people my age and all ages to kind of understand what's going on in our state and why we're so slow to respond. And I encourage everybody to stop by and see what that's like. Thank you for letting me get that in there.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor. And that's totally something that, please post that in the Facebook group. These are the types of things that we want to encourage folks to go to. So
for sure.
Absolutely, post that there. We'd love to be there. Okay, so we have just a couple minutes left. Alad, do we have any last pressing questions from the folks out there? Cool. Perfect. Sweet. I did see someone say that they're going to follow Gina on TikTok now. So Gina, get excited. You have a new follower. I don't know anything about TikTok. I think that might be even younger than I am. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to give the final word of this conversation to our founding folks. Again, I would just encourage you, please, please, please go to that website. You will be able to find everything that you need there, a way to contact us and all of those good things. And I just want to reiterate, we said this to the candidates when we were forming this, and we'll say it to you, the voters in these areas, but you are not alone. There are people all across the state who care about the same things that you do and are working our butts off to make change. And so if you ever feel alone, you call one of us and we will plug you into someone. Now we have a network of folks all across the state who are working hard on these issues. We'll find someone for you. But we hear a lot of times from folks who say, I think I'm the only Democrat in my whole county. Well, we know 100 other Democrats that live by you. So you call us and we'll get you plugged in. We know this can be a lonely fight ahead of us. So final word, Alad, Kathy, Dennis, Caitlin, any last comments before we give people their evenings back?
Are we going in that order?
It doesn't matter. You go first.
Okay, I'm on. So I will just say, first and foremost, I am on TikTok and have learned my dances. So maybe there'll be some videos soon. But second most important is 5 weeks from today is August 4th. We have to focus on the August 4th primary, most importantly for Medicaid expansion. Some of us actually do have primary race. In my particular race, if we don't push me through, we're going to have an absent candidate running against Blaine Lukemeyer, which is essentially just handing him the seat yet again. So because she's not campaigning, she's not active, she's unknown, but she's got that top spot. So that's all I'll say. If you have friends or family, push them to us. If they're in the 3rd district, push them our way. Thank you, everybody. So good to see all of you.
Thanks, Dennis. Kathy, I'm going to put you next.
Well, I just want to reiterate what other people are saying is that you are not alone. And I think that one of the things for all of the candidates that you've seen here this evening, this is about our values. This is what we want for our families. This is what we want for all of the people in rural areas who have really not received what they need in order to live good, solid lives. And we want to do everything that we can to bring them success and to guide them along the way and to give them the resources that they need. It's one of those things that, you can teach somebody to do something and you can give them the tools that they need, and then they can empower themselves. And so that's one of the things that I truly believe in. What I will say to everybody tonight is stay well, stay safe, and stay hopeful.
Thanks, Kathy. Caitlin, do you have anything you want to add from Lindsay's team?
I would just reiterate what everyone is saying. We are available to support you and we're here to listen, and we are really excited to get started on elevating people's voices and really get this work done. It's time to go. We got to keep our energy up.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Caitlin. I'm glad you guys were able to join. Okay, Alad, you dealt with the technology of it, so you get final word.
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna, we had another comment come through. It's from Dennis, and I've had the opportunity to speak with him quite a bit. He is a reporter and at a local newspaper. And his comment is, engage your local newspapers. And I think that's a comment not only for us as candidates, which is very important, but a comment for all of us, because this is it's important. We've got to make sure that the lines of information are open and available for folks. And our job is to, just like we've been talking about today, is to let you know where we stand and what that means and what you want to see in our government. So you being here is so important. You watching is so important. Again, go to the website, take a look. All of these candidates wonderful folks who are working so hard, and that's what this is about. It's about a team that we're building together, not just with the people in this room, not just with the people who are on the ballot, but with all of us in the state. This is a team to take back our home, and we desperately need to get that done. August 4th is the primary. November 3rd is the general. If you need help voting, we've got resources to help you do that too. But you've got no excuse not to vote. If you have an issue with who's on your ballot, give them a call, ask them, put them to the test, ask the other person what they think. But we are here for you, and we're open for you. So we need you to step up too, and we'll all get this done together. So really excited to be here.
Thanks a lot. I think that's it. That's all she wrote.
Great. Well, I'm going to get the end screen up so you all can see the website again. This is the team, folks, to empower all Missourians. So go to team4mo.org. Let's get this done. And for all of you who've been out there and commenting, thank you so much. Share the video with everybody you know, and go to the website and help support the team to take back Missouri. Talk to you all soon.
Thank you all. Have a good night.